The Friday Rugby Preview with Stuart Cameron.
Hello and welcome to the Friday Rugby Preview, looking at the Borders clubs in action tomorrow. Because it's Super Saturday, there's only the Premiership games in Clubland taking place, 5 at 3 o'clock and 1 at 2 o'clock, and because of that, it's just myself doing it today. So let's go over the results from last weekend. It was Musselburgh 17, Watsonians 85. That was the Friday night game. Big win for an in-form Watsonians under the lights, and sadly another big defeat for relegated Musselburgh. It's certainly been a long season for them. More points in the next match on the Saturday. It was Ayr 83, Edinburgh Accies 14. Shows the power of Super 6 teams when two of them go over 80 points there. And of course Edinburgh Accies really struggling at the moment at the bottom end of the table. Glasgow Hawks 15, Heriots 38. Hawks putting up a fight, but Heriots another 5 points in the bag for them, and a home tie confirmed for the playoffs for both Ayr and Heriots, but still to be decided who plays Watsonians and who plays either Curry or Selkirk, because they both have 4 games left to play. Kelso 41, Hawick 17, first league win for Kelso over the Greens since the late 80s. We think that's pretty extraordinary, and the manner of the win was the big surprise. They were 20 points up, and unlike Scotland against Wales, they were able to actually push on and get their name engraved on the Bill McLaren Shield. They now have to take that on the road, and they'll be defending it against Heriots tomorrow, and Heriots licking their lips no doubt at the prospect of bringing that trophy to Golden Acre, but Kelso will certainly not be giving that up without a fight. Melrose 45, Mar 14, back to winning ways for Melrose, and again the margin of victory surprised me a lot against a Mar team desperate for points. And in the other game it was Selkirk 22, Curry 28, 2 bonus points for Selkirk, but certainly Curry now in pole position to get that 4th position. Let's have a look at the Premiership table then. Ayr at the top with 91, Heriots have 86, Watsonians 71 and Curry 59. They're the 4 clubs occupying the top 4 places at the moment. Selkirk then in 5th with 54. They've got a 9-point gap over Hawick in 6th on 45. Melrose also have 45 points. Kelso on 40 now. Glasgow Hawks 36, and in the bottom 3, remember 3 go down, so 10th place Edinburgh Accies 29, Mar 24, and Musselburgh already relegated, they have 15 points. So this week it's Curry against Glasgow Hawks. Hawks could still do with a few more points to be absolutely safe, but Curry need the points too, and they're at Millennium Park. Edinburgh Accies against Melrose. Accies definitely need a win at Raeburn Place, but they're up against a Melrose team that are buoyed by that big win against Mar a couple of weeks ago. And we've seen Selkirk and Kelso both win fairly comfortably at Raeburn Place in the last few weeks. Let's hear from Melrose co-head coach, and that's Scott White.
Fairly disjointed in terms of just a week off again, but things are looking good, especially after winning Mar, which was much needed given where we've been in 2025. So hopefully we can kick on now that, technically, mathematically, well, not mathematically safe, but given who plays who, I think in terms of we can take that burden away. So, look, we head up to Raeburn Place this week. A few boys unavailable for one thing or another. So, no Angus Weir, no Alan Ferry, no Rory Lindsay, which is obviously a bit of a blow. Behind the scrum, all the backs are available, so I can pick from a full kind of selection of backs. Front row, fully fit. Middle row, obviously, miss Angus Weir. Looks like Mark Rutherford will be released by Edinburgh, which is excellent. And then the back row will be made up of Jack Wilkes, Finlay Sinclair and Elliot Ruthven. So, still a good, strong squad to go up to Raeburn Place and hopefully pick up a win. But look, we know how difficult it's going to be. They're kind of fighting for their life at the moment. So, it's important that we're competitive for 80 minutes, and that's probably one of the main things that we've looked at over the last few weeks in terms of how we become more consistent week to week, but then how how do we become more consistent during the game and being in the game for 80 minutes. The last essentially start of 2025, we've been in and out of games too often. Whether that's a concentration thing, whether that's a performance thing, that's something that we've been working on really hard, and obviously boys are aware of that. So, it's a big week prep. Had some Americans down last night at the club touring team, St Paul's Pigs, which was excellent. So the second 15 got another run out, and boys that are looking for game time, like your Donald Crawfords, Harry Mikowski's, boys that are returning from injury, which is great to see them guys back up and running as well. So yeah, look, all roads head to Rayburn Place on Saturday, and boys are looking forward to it.
Hawick against Ayr, the table toppers coming to Hawick, going for a double. They put 59 points on the greens at Millbrae early in the season. Here's Hawick boss Graham Hogg.
We are well aware of the challenge that awaits us on Saturday with Ayr coming to Mansfield Park. Ayr alongside Heriots have obviously been the two best teams in the league this year, and when we played up at Millbrae just before Christmas, we fell foul to the physicality and just the way that the Ayr play, and that's something that we're going to have to match come Saturday. We were really disappointed, goes without saying, with our performance and our physicality against Kelso a couple of weeks ago, and also against Peebles in the Border League last Friday night. So that is the challenge we've set the boys this week, that physicality, we need to up that tenfold in regards to playing this weekend, and obviously what Ayr will bring us. This week, injury-wise, it's no any better for us. Unfortunately, we've lost Fraser Rennick this week as well to a hamstring injury after the Kelso game. Hopefully, we will have Matt Atkinson back in the fold alongside Gareth Welsh, which will help, especially with Logan Henry heading back across to New Zealand to take up his contract with Wellington Lions.
That's Graham Hogg, the head coach of Hawick. Hawick very good, of course, at bouncing back from defeats, but Ayr are certainly going to be a tough nut to crack, and it's an Ayr still needing points to secure a home tie against the fourth team in the playoffs and end the league season at the top of the table. Our commentary match will be coming from Mansfield Park tomorrow with David Ferguson, Ian Hurd and also Ewan Welsh. Heriots against Kelso at Golden Acre. Big assignment for Kelso. As I mentioned, Bill McLaren Shield now goes on the road with them. Let's hear from Kelso Director of Rugby, Neil Hinnigan.
Kelso are back on the road this week up at Golden Acre to play Heriots. Great grass pitch up there. If the conditions are decent, it could be a fairly open game. We go there off the back of a good win against Hawick. Probably our best performance of the season so far, or certainly the most complete performance to an 80-minute performance we've had. So, it probably reflected on the scoreline, but we did have our strongest team out as well. Unfortunately, going up to Heriots this week, we were missing quite a few boys. Adam Hall's away to the Scotland game over in France. Liam Herdman is also away with work. Isaac Coates is called up to the 20s. There's no Liam McConnell. He's back with Edinburgh. We're also missing Ewan Knox, who's away to Cheltenham this week. Jack Utterson is back in with the Scotland Under-18s training camp. So quite a few boys down, but it does give us a little opportunity to get some of the fringe boys that have been on the bench for probably 2-3 games now that are really needing a game. They're really needing a 60-70 minute run out. So that's a plus side to that, and it's a chance for them to then add more competition going into the last 2 home games that we have after this, which are probably going to be vitally important to our survival in the league. I think away to Heriots, we've got to be realistic that if we can win the game, then absolutely fantastic, but we've got to go up there and put a performance in and keep momentum going towards these last 2 games, because they, as I say, they are going to be vital. So yeah, we're looking to go up there and impose ourselves and give a good account of ourselves, and if we can stay in the match for 60 minutes, then who knows. Obviously Heriots have got a absolutely fantastic home record with only Ayr beating them there this season. They play a brand of rugby which I think is the best in the league. They're the easiest on the eye to watch, and they will play to the edges quickly. They will play from their own 22. They will take a chance here and there. So, we've got to be aware, and hopefully we can squeeze on them a little bit. And, there's opportunity for points up there as well. So, if we can get anything, it'll go vitally towards our goal this season. And, let's see how we come up now against, one of the top 2 teams in the league.
Well, of course, let's not forget Kelso have already won at Mireside against Watsonians. They're up against a Nail side, though, who are wanting points, but Kelso also know it's not the end of the world if they come away from Goldenacre with nothing. Musselburgh against Mar. Musselburgh already relegated, of course. End of season can't come quick enough, I suppose, for them. Only Pride to play for the rest of the season. Mar, of course, have to get the win here and pay them back for beating them on their home patch earlier in the season, which was some feat from Musselburgh. And of course, Mar do have those games in hand. They've only played 17, so they've still got 5 games to go, and they need all the points that they can get. So that's going to be a very interesting one up there at Stony Hill. Watsonians against Selkirk is the other match. Watsonians playing some of their best rugby at the moment, up against a determined Selkirk side, trying hard to catch Curry in the table after, of course, they lost to Curry a couple of weeks ago. Selkirk head coach is Sesh Henderson.
So after Friday night's win against Gala, it gave us the Border League. The boys thoroughly deserved it over the season, and I think they had a good night, maybe a couple of nights over the weekend celebrating, but certainly last night at training it was feet firmly back on the ground, and they really want to go up to Edinburgh and play Watsons on Saturday and put a massive 80 minutes in. Another opportunity for us to challenge ourselves against a top side. A guy, obviously they've been in the Super 6, so they gave us real problems down at Philip Hall, but at the same time, we got within 2-3 points for them, then they ran away with the game, a couple of scores with 5 minutes to go, so we know they've got strength, especially the back three. Osley's a big threat, so we can't give him the ball cheaply. But we've just got to worry about us and what we can do to them, because I think if we get our front ball right, our set piece right, or quick contacts, then we've got to challenge them to score tries as well. So it's another opportunity for us to go up there and get points. Want to try and keep as close as Curry as possible. Finish this season on a high. We've got 4 games left, so we've got to take one game at a time to finish with. But we'll want to make sure that we make a good account of ourselves in every single game. And it starts this week with Watsons, and Luke Petty and Bruce Riddle will start this week after giving Ben Malcolm Ryder a start against Gala. The only injury doubt is Jay's Bet. I think he broke a finger in a couple of places, so that's getting seen to just now. Apart from that, I'll just be generally about the same squad for this week.
Sesh Henderson, head coach of Curry. 2 o'clock kick-off for that one, and Hugh Brown will be there to report on the game. Selkirk will need to play out of their skin to win this one, but of course Selkirk know that the gap between them and Curry could widen if Curry beat Hawks tomorrow and Selkirk get nothing out of the Watsonians game. So those are the only club games in Scotland in the Premiership tomorrow. There's no National 1, no National 2, because of course Super Saturday happening in the Guinness Six Nations. Well, let's have a look at the National 1 results from a couple of weeks ago. Boroughmuir 34, Biggar 21. That result secured a National 1 spot for Boroughmuir next season, escaping the relegation. Gala 27, Glasgow Accies 31. A good effort from Gala, but not quite ending with a win against third place Glasgow Accies. Remember, this was the last day of National 1. That is now done and dusted. I'll have a look at the table shortly for you. GHA 76, Dundee 12. It was their 500th game in the history of GHA. Top versus bottom. No surprises. GHA celebrating in style, winning the league and promotion as well. Highland 26, Peebles 14. Now, if Boroughmuir had slipped up at Meggetland, it would have been Highland staying up after that win on the last day of the National 1 season. But Highland go down with Peebles, and from a Borders perspective, 2 losses in their last 2 games was a disappointing end for Peebles, who have certainly played some great rugby against the bigger teams, but come unstuck against a couple of the clubs in the lower half, and they'll be bitterly upset by that. The other game was Stirling County 106, Jed Forest 14. We don't want to dwell on that result, but we think this is the biggest defeat for Jed in their history. But in the big picture, absolutely nothing at stake. Close the book on this 15th season and look forward to the Sevens. But Stirling finishing clear second and putting on a bit of a show for their home fans. So this is how National 1 ended. It was GHA promoted at the top with 85 points, Stirling County 78, Glasgow Accies 65, Biggar 46, Gala 44, Boroughmuir 43, Jed Forest 42, and then the 3 relegated teams, Highland 40 points, Peebles 34, and Dundee with 11. So that's how National 1 finished. Premiership, of course, still got plenty of rugby left in it, at least 4 matches for all the teams. National 2, though, that still moves on, and the results were quite interesting from a couple of weeks ago. It was Falkirk 29, GHK 12, Kirkcaldy 25, Berwick 46, a brilliant win for Berwick there, and certainly doing their survival chances a lot of good. Preston Lodge 0, Newton Stewart 22. Now, Newton Stewart were bottom of the table. They've now won their last couple of games, and that has put them above Preston Lodge, who are in dire straits at the moment, and Newton Stewart trying to survive. Of course, Lass Wade didn't have a game. It's a 9-team league. One team always sits it out, and Lass Wade are now in that relegation position. We'll tell you the league table in a second. Stumel 37, Gordonians 24, and that one was very interesting because it meant that Stumel beat the promoted Gordonians, but of course the damage had already been done the week before when GHK beat Stumel and gave the trophy to Gordonians and the promotion as well. So a bit of a moral victory for Stumel against Gordonians, and of course to rub salt in the wounds, there was a match played last week. It was Stuart's Melville against Falkirk, a game that was supposed to be on March the 22nd, brought forward because of the cup that's going on that date. Stumel beat Falkirk on Saturday, the only league game, as I say, to be played, and won comfortably. But Stumel end in second place. Let's give you that table then. Gordonians promoted with 65 points. Stuart's Melville in second place, 57, Falkirk 44, GHK 40. Then we've got Kirkcaldy on 38, Berwick 32, Lass Wade 27, Newton Stewart 25, and Preston Lodge with 22. 2 going down from that division. So Preston Lodge and Newton Stewart at the moment are in those positions, but certainly Lass Wade aren't safe. You could say that Berwick aren't safe yet either. So plenty of rugby still going through till mid-April in National 2. Well, this is the Friday Rugby Preview on Rugby Radio. As we've mentioned, only Premiership games going on this weekend, so games thin on the ground, but a mention, of course, of Selkirk winning their 8th Border League title in the 124 years of the world's longest-running rugby union tournament. Selkirk's 52-12 win over Gala pretty much won in the first half as they turned round 40 points to 7 in front. That made it 5 out of 5 wins for them, and they had to beat Hawick, Kelso, Jed Forest, Melrose and Gala to secure the title, which is no mean feat, so well done to them. Hawick beat Peebles in the other game, 38 points to 31, which was as tight as it sounds, and I would expect the rest of the Border League games are unlikely to be played now that we have a winner. So plaudits to Selkirk. So that's it for this shorter edition of the Friday Rugby Preview. We'll be back next week, of course, when Robin will be joining me again. We're on air at 2:30 tomorrow with the Rugby Radio Saturday afternoon show, commentary on Hawick versus Ayr in the Premiership with David Ferguson, Ian Hurd and Ewan Welsh in the commentary box. Hugh Brown will be at Mireside keeping an eye on Watsonians versus Selkirk. Remember, you can listen to Rugby Radio at rugbyradio.co.uk and also from the homepage of bordersrugby.net, and also don't forget our Twitter feed at Borders Scores, which will bring you all the latest score updates throughout the afternoon. But for now, from me, Stuart Cameron, a very good night.
The Friday Rugby Preview with Stuart Cameron.